guys, it's me Jake from JakeMan21642. Today I wanted to do the first update video of my 1986 Toyota MR2 GT. Out for a little Sunday drive, and I figured why not. This is also the first actual video that's not just a startup of a car that I filmed with my new iPhone 11 Pro. So let me know what you guys think of the quality. I've never really used my phones to film videos before, but I figured I'd give this one a shot. So I've had the car back from the shop for about 2 months now, from getting the timing belt, clutch, and a bunch of other work done. And I've also put about 700 or 800 miles on it at this point, which is not bad considering I own 2 other cars and this is not my daily driver. But I figured I'd give you guys just a quick little update, do a walk around on the car, show you what's changed. I actually drove it to work yesterday, and the nice part about working on Saturdays is I can go back and clean up, get my cars nice and cleaned up. So I did wash it at work. The paint is still not perfect, but I also haven't even put a coat of wax on it. This is just purely from washing it. It does have some hard water spots that I think will come out. I really just need to do a correction on it. I mean, as I showed in the other video, it has been repainted at least right here, so that's decent looking. And then of course the clear coat up top. Still need to do something about this, but like I said in the other video too, I'd still rather deal with that than rust, especially on something this old. But otherwise, as you can see, it's cleaned up pretty well outside. I really haven't done a ton of cosmetic stuff since the last time you guys saw it. Still riding on the same Mastercraft tires, only the finest Walmart tires for my 86 Toyota. Up top, this is something I'm still so happy it still has. The original Toyota visor. These look so goofy without it. So I'll show you in the trunk. Once I get the key. Inside of the trunk, not much has changed. I do have the mud flap that fell off. I haven't had a chance to put that back on. But same crap parts that came with it. I need to just clean that out. And a bunch of tools that I'm too lazy to carry up to my apartment. And some detailing supplies. I'll give you a little hint to what I'm about to show in a second. Otherwise, outside though, I know I've said it like 5 times now, but not really much has changed. I got some fine ricey stickers at a car meet. I don't know why I thought those were cool to put on here. Another thing, I think I forgot to point this out last time. This car actually has VIN glass etching from 1986 still on the windows. Same goes for the windshield too. And up front, I still need to mess around with the front bumper a little bit. I think a heat gun will get a lot of that out. And then right here, I mean, this car had been parked on the same street for as long as I can remember. So I can only imagine how many times it's been backed and bumped into. I did replace these two. These little inserts in front of the headlights. When I bought the car, it had tape up here, but those are to keep debris and things like that out of the headlight motors. Go ahead, get in this one. That's where a lot of things have changed on this car. So stepping inside, the first thing you'll see is no more ratty shift boot and no more ratty factory steering wheel. I did find this on eBay, and I figured why the hell not, because it was just as much as finding another leather-wrapped wheel from the factory. This is a legit JDM Nardi Torino steering wheel. I believe this originally came out of an Impreza or something like that. This was like a accessory wheel for them, but as you can see, it looks so good with the interior of this car. I love it. It's period correct. It's also smaller, so my legs can actually fit under it now. I mean, I'm 6'2", and I wouldn't say it's the most comfortable thing in the world, but I can drive this car. I did order a couple of factory keys for the car. They actually still do produce these, and you can order them from the Toyota dealership. So I ordered about 3 of these and got them cut. Because the car, when I bought it, it just came with a bunch of crappy, like, hardware store keys. So another cool thing. Also, too, if you do own a Toyota from this time period, you'll know what I mean. These always break, so that's why I ordered a couple of them. And probably why the car didn't come with them. But go ahead and start it. You can hear it fires right up perfectly. It is still a little slow to warm up, or at least to show that it's warming up. I still haven't I'm a little terrified to mess with the cooling system on this car because there are hoses go all the way from up there to back behind me in the engine. So I've heard these are a nightmare to bleed, and I'm not looking forward to it, but I need to change the thermostat, things like that. It's warmed up because, I mean, the heat that's coming out is awesome. It's typical old car heat. I usually, as you can see, will have to turn it down to about the lowest setting for heat, but it's warmed up. It just takes a while for it to show on the gauge. Otherwise, as I was saying though, the Nardi steering wheel, I found this on eBay, I mean, straight from Japan. Like I said, it's like the most legit JDM part I've ever bought, and it looks so good inside of this car. It's a nice leather wheel, and it's also in perfect condition. And this piece will come off. This is kind of like a decorative inlay. Same goes for that, but I love the way it looks. The typical Nardi horn button. And it actually works too. And that's nice too. The horn didn't work on the other steering wheel. I did replace the dash speakers in this car. I replaced it with a set of kickers up there. I don't want to, these covers are so brittle, I don't want to pop them off, but it has 2 kicker speakers up here now. I will warn anyone looking at these cars or that has one and wants to replace the speakers, be careful because you have to buy very shallow speakers because there is a bar probably that deep in there that it has to clear. I can't remember the exact model I got, but the kicker ones did fit. And the stereo in this car, as I expected, with a decent set of speakers, because it still has the kickers behind the seat as well. And I mean, old school MTX kicker speakers behind the seat. You can see my good old-fashioned bag of cassettes back here because the tape deck does work, as I showed before. But this stereo system, this was actually a pretty nice high-end Sony cassette deck back in the day. So with some decent speakers, it doesn't sound half bad. I mean, it's pretty awesome, and it's all you need. I love the way it looks because it's, once again, period correct. But I've just got the tape to aux right here, plug that in my phone, and it's good to go. And like I said, it does all work. Other than that, I mean, climate control's up here. Air conditioning doesn't work, but it's winter, and it's a MR2, so I'm not going to worry about that. Heat in this car, typical old car, it is awesome. I mean, it gets hot almost immediately, and this cabin is so tiny, it doesn't take much to heat it. Ashtray up here, full of spare parts and change. You can see the shifter. Did replace the shift knob finally. It's a little bit of a pain in the ass. You have to remove this. It's actually easier if you take the driver's seat out, but I didn't. You have to take this out, take all of this out, just to get to that, but I did replace it. And I think that changed the look of this entire interior. Still love the shifter. The transmission too, definitely, with the fluid change, it feels a lot better than when I first bought the car. And especially now too that I've put close to 1,000 miles on it, I can actually drive this car now the way it's meant to be driven with the clutch broken in. And I have to say, this is probably hands down my favorite car I've ever owned. It is so much fun to drive. Otherwise, I mean, everything inside is pretty much the same. Just cleaned it up a lot. Sunroof still works. This, as I said before, can be removed, but I have not attempted to do that yet. Rearview mirror. I did get tape strips for my Easy Pass. I don't know why. I think it looks hilarious seeing cars this old with an Easy Pass in them. I'll go ahead and show you the engine. Oh, also too, every MR2 video, I gotta do this. Still my favorite part of the car. That is still, I think now, this is the coolest view ever. Once I put the steering wheel in, I got in, and I feel like I'm in Initial D when I drive this car now. Go ahead, show you the engine. That little 4AGE ticking away. Like I said, when I bought it, I had the clutch replaced because it obviously needed to be replaced. Had the timing belt done at the same time. They did also the oil pan gasket, all the gaskets, things like that in the engine they changed. When I got it back, I did all the typical buying a used car stuff, and did an ignition system tune-up, NGK plugs, wires, new cap and rotor, all of that. The distributor actually is leaking oil. I just figured that out the other day. I think it really started getting bad once it got cold here, so I'm gonna replace the distributor eventually. But otherwise, I mean, typical little old Toyota. This engine is a screamer and it runs beautifully, and as you can see too, no smoke at all. I mean, even with 174,000 miles almost, it drives like an absolute dream. I definitely do need to clean up under the hood though. I mean, otherwise, this has really been, like I said, the most fun to drive car I've ever owned. I also too have daily driven it quite a bit. I love to take this thing to work. This is probably the best city car I've ever had. It's like a roller skate. You can whip it into spaces so quick. You can weave and not piss people off just because it's so tiny. It's just so much fun to blast through city traffic in this thing. I'll drive this to work sometimes, leave at the same time, and take surface streets. I'll make it to work in the same time that I can in the expressway in the S60. But plenty more videos coming of this car. I need to get a setup so I can actually film a test drive. The headrests, it's pretty hard to get a phone or a camera up under them, so I need to get a GoPro or something to actually do some driving videos. But let me know what you guys want to see. Any comments, questions, anything like that, drop them down below. I'm sorry this isn't the greatest update video. I literally was just out for a drive and figured, why not? But as always, guys, any questions, comments, anything like that, drop them down below. More videos of this car coming soon because I'm sure I forgot and left out plenty of things, but I just wanted to show some progress. I wasn't too happy with the way the first video came out, and I thought the car looked terrible, so as you can see, she's coming along pretty good. I honestly like this car enough that I may sink a paint job into it. I don't know, because like I said too, I still have not done a single thing to the paint on this car. One thing too, and I'll end the video after this, I do have a new badge. I just haven't put that on yet. I want to put it on after I'm done waxing and working on the paint in this area. But as always, guys, thanks for watching and subscribe for more.